Cool. Good morning. Good morning. So, decided to switch things up just a little bit. I have been doing some thinking over the weekend and decided that decided that the best approach, as of now, looking at it as concentrating the daily vlogs or blog posts or podcasts or whatever that I do in audio versions would be, and also visual as well. Anything that I talk to a camera on a mic, that's going to be directly focused to the Ccnp track. What I'm also going to do is maybe think of maybe a bi-weekly or a weekly episode of something I spend more time on cutting and developing. A lot of these, I want to do a daily podcast of something and just do, I don't know, like a document or something like that of to pretty much something where every day you go through something, right? You're going through a career change, or you're trying to achieve something. You're maybe in college doing the path, and it's like everyday grind. So I wanted something that I felt when I was starting off in my career, or something I feel right now that I would like is some type of association to within the IT field. Other stuff that's easier to follow, like Joe Rogan, right? Where he has posts, and I think it's every weekly. He has a weekly post. But there's other podcasts out there, like, for example, I follow a Brian, I forgot his last name, Brinsky or something like that. I should share his my personal interest in reptiles, right? He has a daily vlog, and it's just kind of like into like behind the scenes look and day-to-day operations of something. Right, that's what daily vlogs are. Your video recording your day-to-day approach and how you feel and kind of like your struggles through it, so that way everyone sees that you're not the only one who's struggling with this. It's kind of a path to success or potential success. So here's my approach and how I dealt with this type of problem. And I wanted that through a certification track, because certifications are difficult. I think they're grossly underestimated on how much dedication it takes, just because of the fact that many people discredit them, or just like a degree. Like, I think it would be great for somebody to have a daily vlog while they're trying to get a 4-year degree. Like, that documentation of just continuous amount of effort will be amazing. And I wish I would have thought about that, and which now I'm thinking right now will be a great way to document my master's degree when I decide to take that on, is documenting my process on what it took, even just to the point of signing up. Like, all right, like I decided to get this degree. Now, okay, well, who am I going to look for? What colleges, and taking those calls and recording the fact that you're taking a call from a university. I've took calls on the way to Nevada to work, and they call me at like 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, because it's East Coast where they're at, or whatever the case may be, and they call me, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm awake right now. I'm driving actually to work. What's up? I have about an hour. What's going on? And it's just pitch me their thing, and then I'm filtering out what I thought the description of what the concentration was for the degree, and then they're explaining what it means and then what it consists of, and me kind of trying to figure out whether it's worth it or not, and kind of like doing those small things to all the way to the point of graduating. Like, that'll be an amazing series, right? Of someone could be trying to decide whether or not a college is for them, and then they realize, and they run into a YouTube channel of day-to-day progress of this individual. 4 years of just dedication. I think it'd be crazy, like documenting how many times you woke up. But yeah, like I woke up kind of hungover. I gotta take this test. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna pass it. Like, I didn't do so well. And that's kind of a massive amount of exposure. I don't know if kind of thing. I'm like, I don't know if like a 4-year degree would be a good idea. Maybe it was like a year, just because you go through some stuff. Your 4-year degree may be like extended to 7, right? So just kind of like those too much of a long form content ends up being kind of like, you have to be really make sure you actually achieve it. People will be following you and be like, dude, you're not even gonna accomplish it. So I think certifications are perfect, right? Because they're not too long, but they're long enough to make something interesting, but not obviously too long where it's like, okay, well, dedication is 6 months of your life is not too bad, but dedicating 5 years and then recording it's like a big step of commitment. But I think the certification path, especially the fact that the CCNP is something I really, really want to obtain, and the CCIE I also really, really want to get. So I think this will be perfect topic to cover. And there's not a lot on the CCNP. Let's just be honest. Like, everything's a CCNA. So it was easy for me to find material when I was starting off with my CCNA and getting this self study going on. I don't want to say self-taught because I got paid for education, but my CCNA was self-study for it, for the particular certification, and I had a bunch of material. Like, I just look it up and pay for it, and boom, it's there. Like, just study this and you will pass. And I study everything and I passed. So with the CCNP, it's a little bit different. It's kind of the same, but not really. It covers more. I think you need more tools under your belt. I think, free software doesn't cut it. Some people go the hardware route. Some people go the virtualization. Simulators, emulators, where the difference is. You don't need a better computer. Let's just be honest. You can't have a little junker, something that's really slow or anything like that, just because you want to be able to sit down and just right away start getting to work. You don't want to wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes for your computer to boot up, kind of things like that. Just setting some habits and getting your workstation in a way so that way it's comfortable for you, right? And these are the things I discussed in previous podcasts. But I think this vlog idea is pretty good. I'm going to see if I do like it. I know for a fact I didn't like the daily consistent content that I had to be more creative on. I felt like I couldn't be too creative because I only had a few hours to prepare. Right when I wake up, I'm like, all right, or the day before, I'm like, I think about it. But on top of the studying and everything, I wanted something that I can record and not put too much concentration, creativity, and editing to make it to push it out. So I don't want to record something for 2-3 days, edit it for a day, and then upload it, because that's like a week, right? I want something that's I can push out right away. And the content, I have a bunch of content right now on the CCNP and the AWS. I did some AWS labs over the weekend. It was great. I actually wanted to discuss, well, today, what I want to talk about was like, today I woke up, Mondays are always hard for me. I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe like waking up early. I think that's what it is. Like getting up. I'm like, all right. Okay, I gotta get some coffee going. I gotta eat. And I'm just like dragging. I'm not doing it. I'm just dragging the whole time. I'm making excuses. Oh, I gotta do this. I'm gonna take out the dogs instead of like reading right now. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Just kind of like lollygagging through it all. I did get my hour reading in later than I wanted to, and then that's why I did like the vlogs. I think I should still do the streams every morning. I was thinking about not doing the streams, but I think about doing the streams every morning and make it the vlog and make that the stream, just because it allows me to push myself to make it to the stream. However, sometimes I put the stream ahead of the actual studying, so I actually like read for 10 minutes, stream, then go back to reading. And I don't like that because it pushes my day off. I rather do the vlog when I can do the vlog, because what I'm thinking is this is going to develop over time. And while I'm actually at work, there's already some conflicts this morning that I may have had, but they were canceled, of me working at 9. So I had something at 9, got canceled. So the stream would have been pushed anyways, right? So I'm thinking about doing a dedicated stream maybe over the weekend or like Friday night, depending on my girlfriend. I don't know if she'll like me staying up for about an hour or two doing a video. But I'm thinking about over the weekend putting something together over the weekend and do a stream, putting something together, and then edit it, chop, and then post it up the following week, right? Thinking about something like that, but that's just kind of my thought process on it. But what I'm thinking is that when I go back to on a day-to-day grind, when there's like meetings during the weekends, and then I have things have to get pushed because my week gets filled up, so I'm like, all right, like I have to do it in the morning. So the vlogs will be posted at a later time, right? I won't have this like dedicated or at 10. The fact that it gives me the flexibility to do the vlogs whenever I can post them, but as long as it's at a daily basis, that's enough for me. I think that's good. So it allows me to be flexible. Now, the hard part about that is same thing with the study plan, right? If you make your study plan too flexible, you're not consistent enough. It leaves vulnerability for not being consistent, which is why I started, I don't know how many, I think I did 14 in a row streams already, podcasts, live stream podcasts. And it already developed a habit for me. Now it takes 21 days to make a habit. However, now I'm at a point now where I know myself, right? So now I know that if I continue just down this steady path, it'll develop a habit for me, and I'll just always want to post something, talk about something, because I really enjoy actually talking about the subjects and kind of just talking out loud about stuff, documenting it, looking like, oh, that's what I thought before. That's great. Like I don't believe that now, but I gotta change. I gotta update that, and it happens all the time. But so I enjoy it. But usually when you start something, you gotta be really like super. In my opinion, you gotta be super on it. You gotta be just boom, 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 boom. Do not miss a beat. Then later, once you develop the habits, then you can kind of be more flexible. Now, the more you are used to developing habits, the easier it is to be more. The faster it is, the easier it is for you to continue being consistent, even when you're allowing flexibility in your schedule. So right now my priority is always study time. No matter what happens, and I'm putting this into my head, even when the COVID comes in, like the shutdown gets removed, I'm continuing to put this in my head that my study plan is always number one, no matter what. If I have 10 meetings today, guess what? Tomorrow, I'm sorry. Guess what? I gotta wake up an hour earlier than I normally would to prepare, to read. Then I get the extra hour or whatever long I need for prepare. So say if I have 10 meetings that day, and the first one's at 8. Normally I would wake up at 7, get ready, prepare on the way to work, do all that. Now I'm like, all right, well now I need to wake up at maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock, because it'll take me half an hour to get ready, then an hour of reading. Then on the way to work, I'll probably do my other disciplines that I'm trying, like I'm in Chinese and all that. And then when I get to work, I'll get to work around 7:30, 7:20. And then there, I would actually prepare for the meeting, and then the meeting at 8, and then start my day. And then end the day early. Well, and then make sure I end the day at a certain, or during the lunchtime, do my hour reading there, so I knock out 2 hours at least, bare minimum. And then if I still have the energy, for the end of the day, then I continue my reading for the optional 3 hours, right? So that's pretty much always my mindset. Like, all right, the study plan's what matters right now. For the next 6 months, I need to make sure the study plan's a priority. So I make it my priority. I make sure I don't do things that I don't go home and drink a 6-pack and then pass out and have like a headache the next day, because it hurts my ability to learn. Like I'm gonna wake up like groggy. I mean, it's not terrible to drink beer, but it's like, all right, well, it's like, all right, well, you want to go into do a marathon you never done before, and you never done any marathon before. It's 3 miles, right? And then you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna eat a bunch of junk food, and then the day before the marathon or in your preparation, you eat junk food every day. Like, you're not gonna do that to yourself. So don't do the same thing when you're trying to learn something, right? Make sure you put your mind in a situation where it's easy for it to absorb and build that discipline and those like muscle fibers or whatever it is your brain does to absorb information. You want that to be at its highest state. So that's same thing. You get the sleep you need, get the rest, do exercises to relieve that stress, so it allows you to open your mind. Because for me, when I exercise, I actually have epiphanies, or like I'm like, oh, like maybe I approach it this way, and then you have a different. And we came out of a workout. I've gotten out of a workout when I'm positive. Like, my mental state is positive. It went from, I started it negative, and I thought of a situation very negatively. I went into a workout, and I came out of it like I've sent emails after a workout, like a super positive email and a different approach. I'm like in a better mood now. Sent that email, and I'm like, I got an even better response. I'm like, awesome. But before I walked in, I had started an email thread, and it was I had a negative like mindset towards it when it came, and I responded after the workout, and I had a positive mindset towards it. So it's like I actually notice it. So that's very important. So make sure you have those exercises, and I'll start including that, because I don't think I'm concentrating too much on the blogs about it, but I actually been running three times a week. So, and that's just to get myself in a groove, exercising, all of that. Because I haven't worked out in a while. Consistently, I haven't worked out in a while. So I'm gonna start doing that as well. Incorporating again body weight exercises, because I can't go to the gym right now. So I'm gonna start going back into that, and it helps a lot. It really does. Having a plan, being consistent with it. So I'm now allowing my vlog, my daily streams, my postings to be more flexible, because I'm starting to realize I was starting to lose like the reasoning why I started all this, right? So, and it's actually so that way people can follow along a Ccnp track. What did I do? How should you approach it? And at the same time, I'm also reviewing books. So after I read this study guide, I've shown it off multiple times, but I'm gonna do it again. The Ccnp. Right, the Ccnp exam. This cert book, I'm gonna be reviewing that, right? When I'm done with it, I'm also gonna be reviewing Boson. So, because I'm also using that, so I'm using Boson, which I want to discuss right now as well. Like, I did labs this weekend, and I'm starting to put my labs during the weekend. So I read during the weekend lab it. Maybe for one day, I do it one day right now, Saturday. Might do it for both days, I don't know. Because it does take some energy. Like this weekend's lab wasn't too bad. I developed, for the AWS, I built billing notifications. Super easy. I've done it before, but I forgot. Like, you use it, you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Because I did it once or twice, and that's it. And then I did it again following this book, on the one I had, the AWS practitioner book. And then for the Boson, I loaded up the new version 13 for NetSim, and I actually went through Ether channel bundles and PAGP, PAGP, I believe that's what it is, acronym for it. But anyways, I did that lab, and it took about like an hour of, and I could have knocked it out. I know the commands, but I actually wanted to go through the material and read it, and kind of like, all right, I want to make sure I understand every section of it, just so that way, again, it goes back to concepts. Like, if you understand concepts, it goes a long way. So I know how to configure them and do them, and I can navigate myself around the command line. But, oh yeah, that worked. Oh, okay, but I'm like, why did it work, right? So I go back and I could read and make sure I understand it thoroughly. So it took me about an hour, right? So, and I enjoyed it. And the reason why I enjoyed it was because I've been reading for about a month and a half, or like solid month for sure. And I realized that I started reading the book January, February, March was the shutdown. So about like 2 weeks after the shutdown, I started reading. So when was that? Because I was reading before, but then I stopped reading. So I started reading like in February, in February, but then I stopped because like of work. Again, I didn't have a steady. I wasn't consistent. I was a different mental state back then. So I was trying to push myself into a situation I was reading, but that's how it starts. You start with like a little bit, you end, you start, and then you finally commit. So I know I wanted to get it this year. So at some point, I guess I saw an opportunity, I jumped on it. So I believe, let me see it. So I believe in March 18th was a shutdown. So I believe I started reading March 30th, 28th, in that between 27th to the 31st is when I started reading. Because that week, those 2 weeks, I chilled. Oh my goodness. Like, I didn't care about anything. Like, hey, COVID shut down, whatever. When I started realizing things were going on, I went, like the week before, I went shopping. I bought all kinds of like goods. So that way, just in case, at that point, we didn't know what was going on. It was before the strip shut down. Bought a bunch of stuff, chilled at home. It was like questionable at work, and I'm not gonna worry about nothing right now. Because I was so mentally drained from work already. Like during all that time, I was already kind of like here with work. I was so overwhelmed with a bunch of stuff, so I was kind of happy that I took this time. And while everyone was doing the transition, I kind of laid back, and which is kind of like, let me know what you guys want, what you need from me, and then I'll accommodate. Just because it was already too much for me. I took about 2 weeks of just me reacting, attending meetings, whatever, and just playing video games, trying to just I needed time off. At that point, I needed vacation anyways, and during that time, it worked out for me. And mentally, it worked out for me. So after all of that, I started mentally getting better. Just healthier, all of that, positive mindset again. I started getting all that again. I'm like, I'm gonna start reading. So then I picked up the book, started reading again, and then by that point I was in chapter 2, I think, or 3. Because the first chapter or 2, they're all review. They're very switch level stuff, and stuff that I already had core concepts on. Again, like that's part of the thing. If you studied your CCNA and got the CCNA, and you didn't like brain dump it, you actually understood the concepts very well, the beginning of this book is going to be a breeze for you. If you struggled with some concepts and you did a brain dump and you did whatever, and you kind of got stuff but not really, you're going to struggle in the first few chapters. That's just the way it is. But I think majority of people should be fine. So by the time end of March is when I started reading. So right now we're on 20th of April. I'm in chapter 12. So I should be finished with chapter 12 end of Wednesday, I believe. If I do read, which I should be reading. There's no reason why I'm not reading tonight. And then today's not. Why am I thinking today is Tuesday? That's weird. I don't know why today. I thought I was looking at. That's crazy. I was looking at Tuesday 21st and thinking it was Tuesday 20th. It's weird. Yeah. So yeah, I should be for sure by Wednesday, for sure. So Monday the 20th today. I should read, I don't know, a few pages in, because I'm in advanced BGP, so it's a little bit longer. It's taking me a while to finish this chapter. I think it's going to take me like 4 days or a week to finish this chapter because I think I started on the 16th. So I should be done by Wednesday. So in chapter 13 isn't long, it's multicast. So say another, because it's the first time I've read a specific multicast chapter before. So I say 3 days. So I should be halfway through the book by the 30th. So, and now there'll be a solid month and a half. I don't know, it's a solid month and a half. What the hell? No, it's a month and a half of studying. I'm already halfway through the book. So it takes me about 3 months to finish the book. Right? So, but in any case, the labbing was fun because I'm now reading and then applying some of this stuff. Now I'm to the point where I mentioned before, it was like I like concepts first and then doing lab work. There's a reason for that. I think I explained it before. But for me, I get too excited on the lab. I'll start labbing all day and think I have understanding of it because I've done the lab and I can do it. But then I don't realize that there's also muscle memory, the things like that occur when I do these labs. So I force myself to read. But when I read, I get bored. So I'm reading. I get it. I do the lab. I'm like, oh no, I don't get it. I mean, read again. I get it now. So now I have both. When I do only lab, I have this false understanding of I can do it. And then when they give me a different scenario that I've never done before, because I don't have the concepts and I don't put the time and dedication on things that kind of make me uncomfortable, then it shows my weakness. But I proved that because on the Ccnp, I think one of the labs I didn't do so well in. The other ones I knocked out of the park. And it was very easy for me because it took me a while to just read because also it's a test. So it was like reading over and over again to finally understand what they were looking for. I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? I'm like, I knew the commands. I'm like, okay, maybe just route it this way then. Like, oh, you know what? It'd probably be better if I do like prefix this or do this or do that. I started configuring it and it was fun. But I understood what I was doing, right? I wasn't guessing. It was more like, okay, well, based on what they're asking, this will be good. No, like, I think this will be better. Well, I can make it work this way. Is that good? And I test it. I'm like, nah, like, I don't know if that's the best option. So it actually made you think that way. But I think if I just did the lab and not understand concepts of like just route maps and distribution lists, like, those things were difficult for me to understand. So I had to really narrow down those concepts. Understanding the configuration, the syntax of it, that's one thing. But understanding the process, like the rules and what it takes, and when you see multiple, what does it mean? Okay, well, you understand what, like, or I know that when I want to filter local routes, I just should use a distribution list. But what are the processes when I have 4 or 5 of them? What happens when I have a prefix list and a distribution list? What takes precedence? Does that work? Can I do that? Things like that. So those are the concepts you only get when you read. You can get it slightly with the lab. But the method for the lab is actually applying what you've learned. You can't apply the things you haven't learned. Because what you're doing then is just cheating yourself. Right? It's like doing half a rep. Right? You're not really doing the full contraction, so you're not getting the maximum of what you're putting in. So kind of stuff like that. So now I'm to the point where I'm deep enough into the book that I can do lab work slowly, and by the time I finish the book, I'll be still doing lab work. So by the time, I'm hoping by halfway through the labs, I'll be completely done with the book. Then I'll have another half to do with the labs and then reference to the book. And then that should take me another, then I'm dedicated to lab work. Take me about a week or 2. And then go back again, do over again and over again. Then do an over again once, and then by the practice test. And then from there, practice test. And I'll be going back again on the labs, referencing the book. And then by the time I'm doing lab work, that's when I start creating. I reference my notes and create flashcards based on how I'm doing with the test and all that. That's kind of how I flow it, and you guys see that how it all develops through these daily vlogs. So it's like start recording. What I actually really want to do is get a GoPro. Just in general, I've always wanted to get a GoPro. This is a great opportunity. I think when everything There's no need for it now, obviously, because I'm not going anywhere. But it'd be real cool to take that around, like the coffee shops and studying. Because me and my girlfriend will go to coffee shops. We'll study at a coffee shop. So that's really fun. I enjoy that just because you're kind of being social, but it's kind of not really, and kind of studying, kind of not really. So it's just like, it's a different flow. It's a different experience and how to prepare for that. And like, what do? I don't use Wi-Fi there. I use my own Wi-Fi. So that's the topic to discuss as well. So this morning I felt, dragging a little bit. But I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself. Again, it's Monday, kind of just chilling, dragging a little bit, and allowed myself to, take my time with the reading. Finally knocked out the hour, so I'm like, good. I think 45 minutes to an hour, because again, like looking at my phone, kind of putting yourself down, cool, walking around somewhere, sit back and reading again. I did a lot of that. But I finally locked out the hour, so I'm good with that. I'm also listening to a business management book as well. So I do that in the morning instead of watching like TV or anything like that, or anything negative on social media or anything. It's just like surround myself with positivity. So I start learning right away when I wake up. Usually by the time 12 o'clock hits, I'm kind of like sleepy because I'm tired. Because I hit my brain hard in the morning of just like learning things, learning things, reading, audibles, like listening, learning new language. Like today, or when I get done with this, I'm going to hop out with my Mandarin. So I'm going to do that. So that's pretty much, and then the AWS too, right? So I wonder if I should. I don't think I want to do a vlog on that. I think it's a relatively simple test. I think if you just study the material and take the test, you should be fine. It's not a big deal. I think daily vlogs are more advanced test. Even the CCNA is still an associate low-level test, quote unquote, but it's still something to document. I think just that path is cool. So I think hopefully everyone enjoys the vlogs and see how that goes, see how I feel based on my because the whole purpose of all this, like the IT blog, technical reviews, just all that is actually to help anyone who wants help or wants guidance or wants to feel that they are not alone in this like traveling world of like education or certification for IT, right? I felt that I was like that because everyone I was around didn't get certified. So I was like, have you gotten certified? No, I want to get the A+. Why? Because I want to start from the ground and like learn everything. I'm like, right. So I only recently started realizing, like Rudy, the tech I hired, he's OSCP certified. One of my buddies, Nick, from my old job, he was OSCP. And then my other buddy, Scott, he was OSCP. So OSWP or something like that. And I think he had a Sec Plus. So those are the only people that as I can think of the top of my head, are actually certified that I know personally in the field. And I've been in the field for about 6 years. So other than that, I haven't seen anyone else at a higher level cert. Like my other tech, he has an A+ certification. So that counts as well. Because I see more people at the CompTIA certified than I do any other certification. That's true. Because I have seen some other technicians that have said, I do like I have a Net Plus and Security Plus, or not Security Plus. I don't see Security Plus as often, and I do like A+ and Net Plus. Those are the two most common. But in any case, because I failed the A+, I think I talked about it on the podcast. So I was like, no harp on that, really. Like, any certification is good. But just in general, like, it's hard to see. I guess relate to individuals who haven't got a certification, because then it's like talking to someone about a degree when they're decided not to get one, and they'll always say, no, you don't need a degree. I'm like, yeah, well, that's not what I'm asking. I'm just asking you, like, how are you gonna go through all this? Because this is like hard, like, I want to go out but I have to stay in, like, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Am I really gonna get something out of this? The answer is true. Yes, you are definitely going to get something out of it. The outcome, it's what you make out of it. So study and work hard. So So yeah, it's the whole purpose of this. It's just that way you can follow the path and not feel alone in this like journey towards complete dedication of your life towards a particular subject and craft, and just like work on that craft, and also review like, all right, I read this book, now what? Is somebody buying the $50 book or $30 book? How much? I think I spent $50 on this guy cert guide, and the individual was like, all right, well, now what? Now what other tools should I be doing? And kind of like lost and kind of figuring it out. That's what the whole purpose of this blog, is so that I would get those answers. So once I get this CCNP, you'll see exactly what I did, and you can pick apart and make your own method, and that works best for you. And you just know what I did, so that way you can not make those mistakes or actually do the things that actually worked out for me. So that's the whole purpose of this. So I want to make sure that, and also to educate, right? To learn and to educate. Those are the two things. So I'm learning and then educate everyone else on topics that I know very, very well. And I feel that, well, this was hard for me to get. And finally it clicked, like this morning and this week, on Friday and this morning, BGP sections really clarified. And this particular book clarifies some things that, prefix lists, describing prefix lists, understanding greater, lesser than values on network ranges was a great explanation on this section of this book. Was amazing. And the previous book was just hard for me to understand. It was just like I didn't get it. But this book really explains it very well. At least it clicked well for me. Yeah, those are the main things: prefix lists, the order, the processing order, the match criteria, and then the greater and lesser than values associated with the prefix list. And what does that mean? Because I always got confused when you have like 192.168.0/13, and then you have, for example, I'm just like whatever 10.10.00/13, and then you have a greater than value of 24 and lesser than of 26. I always got confused, like what is that filter? Like, what actually filters it filters 10, anything that's, and then you say permit on that prefixes, anything that 10.10.00/24 through /26 is permitted. Everything else is denied. On the slash, you can have a /15 or 12, it doesn't matter. What matters is the greater than lesser than value. That's what the implementation of the mask is. So I'm gonna do a whole blog post on that as well, like written content and video content. And those are the things I'm talking about, where I think those are the things I'm gonna concentrate more on, and then maybe do also some like clips of me talking about a particular subject, about experiences, right? Because part of my value as well is I feel like I've gone through a lot of different type of scenarios. I haven't just been stuck in like a school district, or I haven't been stuck at like one company for 5 years. I had numerous different companies I work with, only MSPs. The first company that I work for that's in-house is the current job I'm in now. So I've worked with several different companies that work for several different companies, right? So my ability to learn things quickly and get things done quickly and resolve things quickly is my skill, and I do that very well. You have a company that has something broken, I'll get you back up quickly. And if I can't, I'll find a solution. I'll definitely get you back up quickly. So those are my skills that I have, and I feel like I can share that on experiences. How do I prepare? How do I make myself an asset on those particular companies, and why I do it so well, and just all things like that. So I think that will be beneficial as well, because it'll help. Because there's some of the things I will look up, I'm like, okay, like now I have this scenario, or I have this opportunity. Should I take it? Should I not take it? They don't really have a lot of that, at least not in IT. There's stuff like that for like people selling like homes, and like just general advice for popular things like fitness people who work out on, and like physical fitness trainers. They have that, like lawyers, like how to prepare for an interview and things like that. For us, we get real technical. We get like, well, you're gonna prepare for a LinkedIn interview, this is how you do it. A Google interview, this is how you do it. But general preparation for interviews for the actual real world. You get people who are like 50 years into the industry telling you how to prepare for an interview. Well, I'm telling you right now, this is what they're asking for Windows system administration. I can give you 5 top interview questions that I've had since I started to now, and the questions that I would ask as a manager, right? Because I am a hiring manager, and how would I ask, and what are the main things I look for? So things like that. So, but anyways, daily vlog for Ccnp for me to study and all that, and that's what's going to be moving forward for the next couple of weeks. See how I like that. Everything's instantly available again within the hour on my blog, the itblog.info, and then the video form as well. Same is going to be the same thing. It's going to be all posted up on YouTube in its own little playlist section. So really appreciate everyone. Keep it up. Stay studying. Stay positive. One of the quotes, maybe I should end it with every day with a quote. That would be pretty cool. What is Eric Thomas? Eric Thomas, real cool guy. I had literally just had that up. Like most successful motivational speakers of 2019. Right, it is my favorite quote. It was favorite. I guess I don't want to say favorite quote, but favorite motivational speaker video or whatever. Like, this is my favorite video that motivates people. But this is the quote. When you want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. By Eric Thomas. Put that quote into YouTube and put Eric Thomas. Watch that video. Dope video. So I really appreciate everyone. I'm going to be heading out here. And then continue studying. Keep pushing forward, man. Positivity all the way. Peace.